Hi everyone, Dr. Saunders here again to introduce Module 8. And my good friend Curious George is here to help. George, why are you not wearing pants? You cannot be in the video without pants on. You're going to have to go sit over here off camera. All right. Module 8, rock and roll. We're here. And so rock and roll is kind of a big date. This is one of the big years in the history of American popular music, 1955, the year when rock and roll first becomes a big thing. So we're going to look at, of course, we know from doing Module 6, or sorry, from Module 7, we know that rock and roll has already been a thing, right? What happens in 1955? Well, in 1955, rock and roll becomes mainstream. Right? It becomes not just this obscure music that only certain parts of society are listening to. It becomes something that's popular across the spectrum. And we see rock and roll songs hitting in the next few years, not just on the pop charts, but on the R&B charts and even on the country charts. And so rock and roll becomes a crossover genre, and it becomes part of the fabric of American society to a great extent. So give a listen. There are two main types of rock that we're going to be listening to. One is country-oriented rock and roll that's represented by people like Buddy Holly and Elvis Presley. And the other is R&B-oriented rock and roll represented by people like Chuck Berry and Fats Domino and Little Richard. Both have a place and both have their influence going forward. I would remind you that nothing happens in a vacuum. When the Beatles are first starting to come together as a band, they want to be a rock and roll band, but they don't really know how. But they get this gig over in Hamburg, Germany, and happen to be playing in the same bar as they are, playing back and forth in these huge, ridiculous 8-hour sets, is an African-American rock and roll player named Little Richard, whose popularity had peaked over in the United States, but was still very popular in Germany and internationally. And Little Richard really takes the Beatles under his wing and kind of shows them what to do and makes the Beatles who they are. So, no one comes up in a vacuum. No style comes from nowhere. Every style has its roots and its antecedents, and always be looking for that. So enjoy Module 8 and rock and roll, and we'll talk about that later on. Talk to you soon. Bye.